This is Nightline.
Tonight, the dark side of the moon. The crew of Artemis II making history, going deeper into space than ever before, as the Orion spacecraft slingshots around the moon.
We can actually see the moon and Earth at the same time right now.
Now headed home. What they said about their historic lunar flyby. Plus, Melissa Gilbert, speaking out exclusively to ABC about her husband, West Wing actor-director Timothy Busfield's indictment on charges of criminal sexual contact with a minor, accused of inappropriately touching a child actor.
Believe me, if I thought for a second that Tim Busfield hurt a child, he'd have a lot more to worry about than prison.
The Little House on the Prairie actress sitting down with our George Stephanopoulos.
What will justice look like in this case?
And spring has sprung for the beloved Big Bear Bald Eagle family. New video of Jackie and Shadow's hatchlings.
From ABC News headquarters in New York, this is Nightline. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, the historic Artemis II mission to space, journeying farther through the cosmos than ever before. Here's ABC's Gio Benitez.
Tonight, the long-awaited flyby of the moon is in the books and another historic milestone achieved. 56 years after the Apollo 13 astronauts set the record, the crew of Artemis II has smashed it, going farther than any humans have gone before. Mission Control marking the moment at 1:57 p.m. Eastern.
Integrity crew. On April 15, 1970, during the Apollo 13 mission, 3 explorers set the record for the farthest distance humans have ever traveled from our home planet. Today, for all humanity, you're pushing beyond that frontier.
Artemis II mission specialist Jeremy Hansen.
We do so in honoring the extraordinary efforts and feats of our predecessors in human space exploration. But we, most importantly, choose this moment to challenge this generation and the next to make sure this record is not long-lived.
In an emotional moment, the team embracing after suggesting naming one of the unnamed craters on the moon in memory of Commander Reed Weissman's wife, Carol, who died of cancer.
It's a bright spot on the moon. And we would like to call it Carol. And you spell that C-A-R-R-O-L-L.
Hello, Artemis II.
Before they made history, NASA woke up the astronauts with the voice of the old record holder, the late Apollo 8 and 13 veteran Jim Lovell, who recorded this message before he died last summer.
It's a historic day, and I know how busy you'll be, but don't forget to enjoy the view.
At 2:45 p.m. Eastern, the astronauts began the long-awaited lunar flyby, where they will be the first humans to ever see many of the features of the far side of the moon, taking as many high-resolution photos and videos as they can while narrating what they are seeing.
We can actually see the moon and Earth at the same time right now.
All the while, the spacecraft sending back live images of the moon from cameras mounted on the Orion solar array wings. Around 6:45 p.m., as expected, Mission Control lost contact with the spacecraft as it passed behind the moon. And around 7 p.m., the Integrity spacecraft marked its farthest point from Earth. Finally, around 7:30 p.m. Eastern, contact between the crew and Mission Control was reestablished.
Houston, Integrity, we will inspire, but ultimately, we will always choose Earth. We will always choose each other.
Our thanks to Gio. We turn now to actress Melissa Gilbert, famous to generations as Laura Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie, opening up exclusively to ABC about the shocking indictment of her husband, actor-director Timothy Busfield, on charges of criminal sexual contact with a minor. Her belief in his innocence, absolute. Here's ABC's George Stephanopoulos.
Why speak out now?
It's time. We've been hearing and reading too much untruth, and we felt that the time was right to speak out. Also, honestly, I wasn't capable until now. It's been a very traumatic time.
Melissa Gilbert speaking about her husband, actor and director Timothy Busfield, who was indicted by an Albuquerque grand jury in February on 4 counts of criminal sexual contact with a minor. Busfield has pled not guilty. He's scheduled to go on trial next year. The charges stem from allegations Busfield inappropriately touched a child actor on the set of a TV show he was directing called The Cleaning Lady, when the child was between 7 and 8 years old.
When did you enter the U.S.?
Allegations Busfield denied in this video obtained by TMZ.
I'm going to confront these lies. They're horrible. They're all lies. And I did not do anything to those little boys. And I'm going to fight it.
What has this whole episode been like for you?
Hell, this has been the most traumatizing experience of our lives. Our life as we knew it is done. We are grieving what we had. All of our plans, all of our dreams, all of our ideas, all of our projects. For Tim, it's done. He's canceled. Even if he's exonerated, he will always be that guy, the last person in the world who would hurt a child. And believe me, if I thought for a second that Tim Busfield hurt a child, he'd have a lot more to worry about than prison.
All right. Busfield's attorneys allege the parents of twin child actors on the show blamed Busfield when their sons were recast in 2024 and wanted revenge. Claiming in court documents, a witness heard the boys' mother say that if her children were not brought back, she would get Timothy Busfield.
The criminal complaint doesn't just reference what the parents said, it of course references what the boys said in these interviews.
What the boys said originally was, he never touched me. They were both asked at the time, and they were specifically asked, you know it's appropriate, you know where touching is appropriate. Did he ever touch you in any inappropriate? And both boys said no.
According to the criminal complaint, last September, a therapist who interviewed the child documented him disclosing having nightmares about the director touching him and waking up scared.
But in subsequent interviews, one of the boys did say he was touching
One of the
inappropriate
boys in that interview was preceded by the father telling the boy when he would wake up at night that he was having nightmares. The boy would say, and we have this in the records, the boy would say, I wasn't having nightmares, I was just hot or cold. And the therapist said, well, why didn't you tell your father that you weren't having nightmares? He said, because I didn't want to disappoint him.
But the prosecution contends the alleged touching was first reported by a therapist, not the parents.
The kids didn't even disclose to their parents. They disclosed to a neutral third party.
Busfield rose to fame in the 1980s with a starring role in the show 30-something.
Dad, I have to stay here.
Also playing Kevin Costner's skeptical brother-in-law in the beloved baseball classic Field of Dreams.
But the fact remains is that you don't have the money to bring the mortgage up to date, so you're still going to have to sell.
But his breakout role was playing the hard-charging journalist Danny Concannon in The West Wing.
I've only been a White House reporter for 7 years, and I appreciate you clearing that up.
Busfield's wife is known for playing Laura Ingalls on the long-running TV show Little House on the Prairie.
And I've decided something.
What's that have by?
Home is the nicest word there is.
She also appeared on Dancing with the Stars season 14.
One of the other things the criminal complaint says is that you had some kind of relationship with the family, with the boys and the parents. What was that like?
I'll let Larry get into the specifics of what happened with that part of the complaint.
I'll just quote it and you can respond to that. They advised that they did buy the two boys Christmas gifts and were together on several social functions.
Tim did not give the boys gifts. Melissa gave them gifts. Melissa gave them and every other child at a Christmas party a gift. Every child at the Christmas party, not treating them special or different than anyone.
So is your contention just that the parents and the boys are just making this all up?
Absolutely. The boys are victims in this case. They're victims of the parents, not victims of Tim.
Busfield's attorney accused the parents of seeking financial gain.
The boys were the parents' meal ticket. And when they were fired, they assumed Tim was responsible for it. The truth is he was not.
ABC News reached out to the parents of the children but did not hear back. In court, the director of photography of the cleaning lady testified the alleged inappropriate contact could not have happened on set because the children were always surrounded by the crew.
Is it possible that Mr. Busfield inappropriately touched on the set of the cleaning lady?
No.
In a statement to ABC News, the Bernalillo County District Attorney, whose office is prosecuting Busfield, said a neutral grand jury indicted the defendant. This office follows our ethical duty to only proceed on cases where a good faith basis exists to prosecute.
The criminal complaint also includes references to two women who had accused Timothy of sexual assault back in 1994 and 2012. He settled one of the cases. Were you aware of these cases before
No,
the criminal complaint?
I got this one. I need to make something really abundantly clear. These allegations have been out in the ether for a very long time. And
that means you knew about them.
When Tim and I got together, the internet existed. I didn't go into my relationship with him blind. I am neither naive nor am I complicit. I talked to him about it. I asked him questions about it. I heard his side of the story, which no one has ever heard, which is the truth. And when the time is right, and that is not now, Tim will tell the truth of all of these past allegations when he needs to.
What the prosecution is saying, though, is that they cite other reports of other women making allegations that this is part of a pattern.
But the pattern is supposedly the someone who is powerful, who will do something to someone, who won't report it because they're powerful. A 6 or 7-year-old boy is not going to not report something they're uncomfortable about because of the power of a director. Maybe a woman who wants to be in film or television.
Little boys can be scared.
But little boys were asked specifically whether it happened, and they specifically said it did not happen.
Gilbert and Busfield have been married for over a decade. They have a home in the Catskills area of New York State, far from Hollywood. Gilbert spoke about their marriage to Stephanie Ramos in 2022.
Tell us how this relationship, how this marriage with Tim is different compared to the others.
My poor ex-husbands. The thing that I love most about my relationship with Tim is that it's a real and true partnership. It's the most comforting, easy relationship I've ever had with anyone, actually, in my life.
No moments of doubt?
Not for a second. I know this man in my bones. No one knows him better than I do. I know literally everything about him. Our marriage has, we've had a lot of ups and downs. We've been through struggles. We've had our own issues to deal with, and we've worked through everything. He is nothing if not completely honest with me. I trust him with my children's lives, with my grandchildren's lives, my nieces and nephews. He is an honorable, caring, generous human being.
And you're confident he'll be exonerated?
Oh, absolutely.
I am 100% confident he will be exonerated, but I will tell you that there is a practical side to this, and we do have to be prepared for all scenarios.
What will justice look like in this case?
Exoneration, an apology, freedom from this cloud.
Our thanks to George. We'll, of course, continue to follow this case as it develops. And now a look ahead at tomorrow's show. We're inside the world of competitive indoor skydiving, where it all looks so effortless. But one tiny move can spell disaster. And when we come back, inside the extraordinary, courageous rescue of an American pilot deep inside Iran, how they did it after the break. Welcome back. We pivot now into the conflict in the Middle East, now in its 6th week. New details on the incredible rescue inside Iran of an American pilot shot down by Iranian forces. This is day 38 of the war with Iran. Here's ABC's chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz.
Tonight, remarkable new details about the 48-hour mission to rescue that American Air Force colonel and the pilot before him trapped deep behind enemy lines in Iran. The nightmare began at 10:10 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, 5:40 a.m. local time over southwest Iran, when the president said a shoulder-fired missile struck the American F-15 fighter jet, forcing the pilot and the weapons systems officer, that colonel, to eject, both airmen armed only with pistols. A search and rescue mission was launched immediately, aircraft refueling midair, searching in broad daylight for the F-15, call sign Dude 44. U.S. warplanes flying low and slow into hostile airspace, C-130 transport planes and helicopters facing withering fire at close range. All these videos circulating on social media. An A-10 Warthog attack aircraft hit and badly damaged, the pilot making it to Kuwait, ejecting safely before his A-10 crashed in flames. But despite it all, just 7 hours after that F-15 was shot down, the president got good news.
This first wave of search and rescue forces successfully located the pilot of the F-15, and he was extracted from enemy territory.
But that second F-15 crew member, the colonel, was missing, bloodied, and miles away from where the pilot had been found.
He was injured quite badly and stranded in an area teeming with terrorists.
Officials say that the colonel was likely injured during the ejection or landing, but kept going in treacherous terrain, climbing thousands of feet up a mountain ridge, repeatedly hiding from Iranians trying to capture him.
He scaled cliff faces, bleeding rather profusely, treated his own wounds, and contacted American forces to transmit his location.
The colonel communicating only sporadically so as not to alert enemy forces, finally activating his emergency beacon.
On Saturday morning, we achieved our primary objective by finding and providing confirmation that one of America's best and bravest was alive and concealed in a mountain crevice, still invisible to the enemy, but not to the CIA.
Then the U.S. launching a second, even larger rescue mission involving 150 warplanes to bring that colonel home. Elite Special Operations Forces aboard 2 C-130s near the location on a makeshift airfield, a farm, the president called it, using MH-6 Little Bird helicopters to reach the rugged mountains where he was hiding. But the weight of the C-130s left them stuck in the wet, sandy airfield, forcing the troops to deliberately destroy the aircraft and having smaller aircraft evacuate the colonel and rescuers.
Martha Raddatz joins us now. Martha, we're learning so many new details about the mission. Did anything about it surprise you?
I think one of the most surprising things, even knowing how long that colonel, that backseater in the F-15 was evading capture, was what he was going through while he was evading capture. He was badly injured, the president said, bloodied, and climbing thousands of feet up a mountainside to avoid being captured by those advancing Iranian forces. It's truly remarkable what he went through.
Martha, thank you. Stay with Nightline and ABC News for continuing coverage of the war with Iran. When we come back, Big Bear's bald eagle couple, Jackie and Shadow, welcome 2 new additions to the family. Finally, Jackie and Shadow, proud parents again. It's tonight's Nightlight. The beloved family of bald eagles from California's San Bernardino Mountains, growing by 2, a pair of eggs laid by Mom Jackie, hatching over this Easter weekend, as first one egg pipped and burst open Saturday, with the other following on Easter. No word yet on names. Last year's eaglets, Sunny and Gizmo, were named in a contest by Friends of Big Bear Valley, the nonprofit running the avidly watched Eagle Game. And that's Nightline for this evening. Watch all of our full episodes on Disney Plus and Hulu. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Thanks for the company, America. Good night.